game on behind me. Bro, I don't know how y'all lost that game. I didn't realize Dallas was gonna come back like that either, because y'all were up by 10, I think. Like,
I went to sleep because I was exhausted. I even texted you. I was like, "Y'all, before we do this recording, I gotta take a nap. I'm exhausted."
I feel you.
And I woke up and it said the Mavs were up 1, and I'm like, "What? Weren't they just down like 15?"
Yep.
And then I was like, "Okay, but we still got KD on the floor. This is easy work."
Could be.
And then
it was.
and then Goran Dragic became shooting practice. Like, anybody he was defending was just like, the ball's going in. I don't care. And that's when we lost the game.
He was guarding Luka on the 2-point possession right before KD's, right?
He got switched onto Luka to multiple times in that fourth quarter, the last 2 minutes. And then the last play of the game, KD doubles Luka like he should have. Perfect play. Yeah. And Dragic is the help defense on Dinwiddie, puts his hand up, and I'm like, this ball's going in. Like, I was standing up and everything. I just put my head down before I even let go of the ball. Like, yeah, he's not missing that. That was his spot when he was on the team. So I said,
it had to be Dinwiddie too. Like, he was just comfortable on the floor. You see his footprint's still on the floor.
Yeah, I'm like, that's his spot. Even when he played for the Nets, he's not missing. Oh man, that's his spot. It's going in.
Nah, that's brutal. I mean, my Knicks won today. I'm happy about that. We finally beat Portland, and we didn't blow the lead against them like the first game. The 20-point lead we had.
I don't think Portland should win another game for the rest of the year. They have nobody playing for them.
Yeah, they have Josh Hart, who dropped like 35 like the other night or something, and they was gassing him. But yeah, it's literally nobody else. Anthony Simons is not playing.
He's like a sprained knee or something. He's out for like the next week or two, or broken finger or something. Something with his knee or his hand.
Over.
Yeah, like, Dame's not coming back. He's taking his sweet time. He don't care.
Yeah, no, he's not coming back this year. He knows he shouldn't come back this year.
Yeah.
We'll get to an NBA episode about that, but this is episode 31, DROD and Shaniac Sports Podcast. I hope you've tuned in. More recently, we had a nice little batting session. Celebrate.
That video is going to come out soon. We had a blast. That was hilarious.
Yeah, the amount of bruises I had on my hands, like, it was bad for weeks. Yeah, it was pretty bad, like cuts and all. Like, I don't remember ever getting this. Like, I mean, obviously I had like batting gloves on, and like it wasn't gonna be like dangerous. I didn't think it would be dangerous. Like, I was drawing blood every time I took a swing. Like, it was bad. Listen, if you watch that video, aside from the mechanics and whatever you want to point out is wrong with the video, we had mad fun. We was talking smack. We was gassing each other up in the cages. Sean was with us. If you remember Sean from our baseball draft video, he surprised us at lefty. We took a couple lefty swings, which why
took righty swings, and that was bad too.
Yeah, it was like halfway through each session. Shout out to Pagoda Golf Center. They're mad cheap. Go give them some money, but don't go when we go. Like, we want to have fun through all 4 cages.
Yo, we were really there expecting to be there alone, and you just saw families start coming in. I'm like, this time of the night? We came at 8 o'clock on purpose.
Yo, it was like mad late too. I'm like, don't y'all got school?
Granted, it was a Saturday, but it was like, yo, we came here mad late on purpose. And y'all gonna pull up now? Come on now.
And then on top of that, like, baseball is back. Once the feeling's out there, like, professionally, people are gonna be like, oh, baseball's back? Let me get back to the cages. Let me go reignite that feeling. I don't know how, like, a widespread, it changes from generation to generation or whatever, but how popular is baseball really amongst, like, the younger crowd? Because there's always this discussion about how, like, oh, they don't market to the younger crowd and you don't really see anything. I remember when viewer was like a kid watching, like, even Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, whatever, they would have like some baseball aspect like applied to it, and it wasn't even like a marketing thing, but it was just the fact that, like, like, we were kids growing up, but we were outside. We were part of that generation, I guess, that was still outside growing up, playing sports, doing whatever in the park and all types of stuff. And people complain about now, oh, all the kids are all inside just playing their iPads, but I see kids outside all the time. Like, I used to work at an after school program. You work at an after school program now. We know, like, these kids they have energy. They like to have fun outside. Like,
but
there's no absence of it, I don't think.
Schools during winter time, so that's why everyone's playing basketball, football inside. It's hard to play baseball inside when there's a bunch of random kids running around. So that's also part of the reason. But I will say, baseball doesn't market to anybody.
No.
Baseball puts out commercials and that's it.
They market to the very niche community that already understands baseball. Like
I don't even think they market to them.
Well, like I think the only reason why they do is because like they show like the advanced metrics, and you know they show like the highlights from like StatCast and all kinds of stuff. Like that's catering to a very specific group of baseball watchers. The average baseball fan doesn't even know about that. They don't even care about it. And the fact that they show it is even shocking sometimes, because it's like
if you
people really want to see this.
You gotta look, bro. Like I think somebody said like MLB's best player, Mike Trout, has 1.7 million followers on, I think, Instagram or Twitter or something like that.
Yeah, on Instagram, I think I saw. Yeah,
Tyler Hero, just a role player in the NBA,
a sixth man at best in the NBA,
has 2 million plus followers.
Yeah, I think it was double digits. It was something like 12.
No, he's not that high now. Because if he's that high, it's because of his song. But no, he only has 2 million. So it's like, how does he have more followers than MLB's best player? Probably the best player we've ever seen.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's 2.3. I like just checking now, and that same level of like, you know, popularity between, I guess you can say, even the two sports is like a major difference in like today's world. Like, you know, basketball is more marketable just because there's so much action going on. You can show highlights from any second of any basketball game. And, you know, we talked recently even about like the new CBT deal and all the, you know, bargaining that was going on for the 99-day lockout. How is the MLB going to make the game more exciting, more appealing, blah, blah, blah. And it's hard to do because baseball is it's just not that sport. It goes on a pitch by pitch basis. It's mostly mental games.
I don't get it. Like,
you could kind of tap into that, I feel, but I don't. What were you
that's why I was hoping that the ban on the shift started this year, because
that would have helped.
You know,
like,
how much,
offensively.
Just think about how many people grew up like, man, Derek Jeter's play when he runs in the hole, does that little jump throw. How many people remember that and go, that's what made me love baseball? We don't have that now because the balls, you hit a ball in the hole and somebody's standing there.
Yeah.
They don't have to run. So, like, you don't get that play every night like we used to get in 2005, 2003, when I fell in love with baseball. It's like, man, that's really good. Like, I literally grew up like, man, I want to be a shortstop. Granted, I knew I was going to end. I was just bigger than everybody else. So I knew I was going to end up at first, third, or outfield. But I was like, man, I want to be a shortstop so badly so I could do that jump throw. I had one opportunity and Matt messed it up. Matt McClain. He dove from third base and knocked the ball past me. I almost cried that day. I was like, man, that was my opportunity. I'm not going to get this again.
Dang. Shout out, Matt. Shout out our Red Sox team, bro. That team is goated. Good team.
Good time.
Oh man, Phoenix Southern baseball, I think, was the first like real experience. And I mean, like for both of us, I think, but for baseball being fun, obviously, you know, you can't implement a shift in little league level baseball. That's ridiculous.
We did low key though,
like to like one or two people.
Hey,
yeah,
3 steps that way.
It was like the outfield, 3 steps that way. Infield, move back.
Who's pitching?
Infield,
he throws gas. Outfield. He can't pull him.
Back up.
Good times.
There were certain times, certain aspects where I think you could, you know, implement baseball. Obviously, baseball is most fun when you're playing it, and as a fan, you really got to be engaged on, like, you know, what's going on every time. I've tried to bring so many different groups of friends to baseball stadiums, and they're all like, no way, like baseball's boring. And I'm like, the best part I feel even at a baseball game is that you don't always even have to pay attention to the game. Like if you're not even the biggest fan, it's kind of like being at a club, like a baseball stadium, where you can kind of just chill in your seat. You know, sometimes games are crowded, depends, you know, what time of day, who's playing, but you could literally just have like a leisurely time, talk with friends at a baseball game, enjoy a beer, enjoy food. Like it'll be overpriced, but you know, depends on the stadium. And like it's a fun environment. It's a fun experience. Like I think, you know, baseball kind of has to cater to that too. Like baseball stadiums, parks are now becoming more like fan friendly in that sense. They provide more like entertainment stuff. They provide more like food venue stuff. You know, there's places like Yankee Stadium that, you know, are catered strictly to the game that's being played itself. Mm-hmm. But Citi Field, on the other hand, if you've been there, I'm sure, but it caters a lot more to the fan experience and
I've
a lot more
been to
ballparks.
Citi Field. I want to go.
Wait,
there.
Really?
Never. I've been to Yankee Stadium a bunch, but like never been to Citi Field. I want to go so badly.
We might actually have to show up to a Mets game in all Yankee gear too. Like, won't even matter. But
no. Unless it's Subway Series, I'm not pulling up to a Mets game in all Yankee gear. I feel like those fans are annoying. Those fans are the worst.
It's a certain section. The rest of them will not care. I swear.
Yo, I went to Yankees.
I've been to a Subway Series game though, but yeah.
I went to Yankees Red Sox 2019, and this dude showed up in a Syndergaard jersey. And Red Sox fans turned on him. What are you doing here? Get out. He left like the third inning. He's like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Can't do this anymore.
Yo, how could you be so dumb? You show up to Yankees Red Sox in a Mets jersey. Like, what do you think's gonna happen to you? Come on now. You gotta do better.
I gotta tell you though, the crazy experience though at Citi Field is that they literally give out jerseys like it's air. Mm-hmm. Like, I have a Jacob deGrom jersey in my closet right now.
I hate the Mets, but I would wear that.
Right. I got it for free because I was one of the first 10,000 fans in the stadium. And I was like, could you imagine getting a free Garrett Cole jersey? Like, because you walk in Yankee Stadium?
100% walk around that DeGrom jersey. Because DeGrom's going to be a Yankee one day. People don't know it yet. But DeGrom's going to be he's going to be on the Yankees. He's almost guaranteed at this point.
Honestly, I mean, it could be around the corner, you know.
Well, maybe not now because of Steve Cohen, because he's gonna open the checkbook.
No, like, whatever you want. Cohen knows what he's doing. He's not the dumbest owner that the Mets have had in a while, but he knows what he's doing. But yeah, bro, yeah, like I believe with you. I believe what you're saying. I could probably rock that DeGrom jersey every now and then. I gotta dust the spider webs off of it and stuff. It's just sitting there in my closet. With that said, though, you talk about DeGrom almost being a Yankee. One of the biggest things going on right now in baseball is free agency. And it just so happens that, because of the lockout, it's happening at the same time as NFL free agency, which is going crazy, like equally as crazy. My notifications on my phone have been going like lights on, lights off, like for the last week and a half, with quarterbacks on the move in the NFL, key players in the MLB moving around, a lot of teams that like don't even seem like they're in the mix for a player coming out and like snatching somebody for 7 years, 160 million. Is like, oh my God, like there's so much that you keep track of now. That, like, teams are going to be completely different almost next year. If you look at like who's left, we'll talk about who's been signed, and obviously we have to talk about the situation with the New York Yankees right now, where I actually, let's get Yankees off the table right now, because I think it was literally like the day after, like Sunday or Monday, right, that they announced the Donaldson trade.
That was Sunday. The day after we were at the batting cages. Mm-hmm. So I'll have to ask, where were you when you found out we no longer have Gary or Gio? I was at a friend's house. We were talking music, like plans for like events that we want to start planning. And I think it was Sean that sent me, and he said, "Oh my gosh." And the second I picked up my phone to text you, you called me, and I'm like, bro, what is this? What's going on here? You were like, bro, I can't believe this. I'm like, yo, they didn't just do that to us.
Yeah,
like,
man.
What was the point? Like, I understand the point, but we used one of our best trade pieces and one of our, throw him in a deal. Hopefully this works out for nothing. Like, Josh Donaldson could easily be the best trade of the offseason, could easily end up being the best trade of the offseason for any team, easily, because he can give us that kind of production. Mm-hmm. But Isaiah Falefa, pointless. Love the guy. I think he's going to end up being a fan favorite. But I think that part of the trade made no sense, because you gave up Gary, who, yes, Gary Sanchez sucks. He does. But Gary
I'm
Sanchez,
so tired of that. Go ahead.
Gary Sanchez could easily be top 5 catcher in baseball because the catching position
he already
is brutal. No.
Like
Gary
there's
Sanchez was pretty bad
last year there weren't. I'd say there were probably 7 catchers at most who played a full, like not full, but like full catcher season that were better than Gary, because Gary. The problem with Gary was obviously his defense. And like the entire time he was a Yankee.
Yeah,
it was his defense. Last year, definitely his bat declined. And I think that set off a lot of just like dogpiling hate like onto Gary. Because it's been building up.
Why are you here? That's why people hated him.
What people kind of expected though for Gary Sanchez, and I'm fully biased on this because I absolutely love Gary Sanchez. I thought he was probably my second favorite Yankee, like to the day, from 2016 when we first saw him hit 20 home runs his first 20 games, like rookie year.
It was like 52 games, 53 games, or 60.
Like the end of the last 2 months of baseball, pretty much, yeah. And like from that moment on, I figured, oh my God, like this is going to be the start of something new for the Yankees. Granted, it was because we had the 2017 Yankees with the baby bombers, new Sevy,
we gotta be
Judge.
Real. Think about it like this:
Tyler Austin, Didi was new on the Yankees.
He lost us that series in 2017, and then Chapman
put
the nail in the coffin. Yes, we would never even have to go to a game 7 if he didn't let Altuve score both of those games.
We lost game 1 because of him. Yeah, yes. Because he slid right past him, even though he had the ball right in front of him.
Yeah.
And what was it? Game 4, game 5?
It was a game. It was I think it was game 6 in Houston.
Okay. Yeah. That other game in Houston where again, like he misplayed a ball and allowed Altuve again to score all the way home. I think it was a pass ball that even let him go to second in the first place, right?
Exactly.
And then he just got all the way home on a couple of hits. Here's what I get about Gary. I get not being confident in Gary, right? Because he hasn't been a productive player for the Yankees. He's been in a decline on the Yankees, which sucks. But to say Gary Sanchez sucked for the Yankees, I think you're like Yankees fans are utterly entirely wrong for that.
Yeah,
because he gave us. Okay, no, because that's the difference, I think, in all of that is there's so many Yankees fans who want to dogpile on Gary Sanchez.
Because he deserves it.
In all his comments and all his tweets, anything mentioned about Gary Sanchez, you always got like 7, 8, 9, 10 multiple haters in the comments saying this guy was never good for us. He was the worst thing to happen for the Yankees. No one believes that. No one with a brain believes that.
You know why people say that? It's the same thing you just said just now. He was great offensively the first, 16, 17, 18, and I think maybe piece of 19.
19 was when he didn't jog out that ball to first, and people gave up on him in Tampa, like right after that, and then he got hurt like right after that. Yeah, so it was like first half of 2019, then it was cut off. But to what you're saying, I know the reason.
His defense was always bad. Yes. So that's why he had one good defensive year, and that was
2017.
Whatever year was
17. 20, it had to be 17.
I think it was 17. 18, that was the last year.
Because 18 was with because 18 was with Romine, and he split time with Romine.
Because he was hurt the whole year.
And 19 he was hurt most of the year again, and I think it was either Romine or Higgy also back.
No, I think 18 was his last full year playing. 19 he split time because he was hurt like almost the whole year. 20 was the shortened season, and then 21 he was just one of the worst hitters in baseball. But what people forget is that like outside of Posey, who just retired, Salvi, who had an explosion out of nowhere, JT Realmuto, who else can you say? Mike Zunino.
The Rays.
You can say
from the White Sox, Grandal,
that's my guy.
Who doesn't even hit that well, bro. Wasn't he the guy who walked like 11 out of 12 times and he grounded out every other time?
His I think his on-base percentage at the end of May was like 680. And he had like a 190 batting average.
He had a 1-something average. Like, Jesus, bro.
But because you know why? he's so slow. He like he's like the slowest guy in all of baseball. I think the only person slower than him is like Albert Pujols and like Wilson Ramos. Like everybody
Daniel
else,
Vogelbach.
even Daniel Vogelbach is faster than Grandal.
That's hard to say, bro. That man only hits a home run because he can't beat anything else out. Yeah,
that's the reason why Grandal is like doesn't get hits, because he can't run anything out. But other than those 5 guys, and you could probably add in Wilson Contreras, outside of those 5 or 6 guys, everyone else is hot garbage.
Which is my point. I'm saying, like, for the majority of Gary Sanchez's time as a starter, are there any real catchers who consistently were better than Gary Sanchez, other than like the top 4 we just named?
Well, no. I think I named 6.
But this is from last year. This is from last year, because
even that's what I'm saying. So top 5. Gary's I'd say he's
top 5.
Nah.
If you exclude him out of top 5, then he's definitely 6 or 7. But Posey didn't play 2019. Salvi didn't play 2019. Take those 2 out.
2020.
He played 20. Yeah. He played 20. He didn't play 2019. He did play 2019, not 2020. Yeah. But on the years that you miss catchers, or catchers like weren't even starters yet, Gary's up there. Everyone knows Gary Sanchez's name. Everyone knows what Gary Sanchez was capable of, which is why he got so many starts. Yeah, he knew that his bat could light up at any point in time. And I think it's hard because like the other thing I'm gonna say is like the Twins immediately as soon as they traded for him, we're like, oh, we're gonna use Gary as either like a platoon guy or like off the bench. I think they even said just off the bench, which like at this stage of his career, understandable. His bat's not as much there. If this was Gary from 2018, 2019, where he had 34 home runs, 2019, 33, 2017. So 2018, he only played 89 games. That's when he first got like really hurt. But 2019, he played 106 games.
In 2018, didn't he still hit like 30 home runs?
No, he had 18.
Oh,
he had 34 in 2019, 33 in 2017. It was that gap year.
Yeah.
So 2018 was the first year he got hurt. But 33 home runs, 90 RBIs, or 34 home runs, 77 RBIs, 40 walks. I mean, the guy strikes out a lot. You're going to get that with Gary Sanchez. You're going to get that with most catchers. Catchers are probably one of the hardest working people throughout the game.
Yeah.
They're literally game managers behind the plate. And on top of that, they have to endure everything that's coming at them. 90-mile-per-hour pitches, blocking pitches, playing defense. It's the hardest aspect of baseball. And Gary, like, as one of those guys, his defense, yes, is faltering, but his bat is still, like, it's
Here's what I'm thinking, yo. You got to hear me out on this one.
Go ahead. Okay.
We have a long line of people that were catchers that moved off the catching position and became elite defenders. We have 2 on the Yankees right now. Josh Donaldson and IKF were both brought up as catchers, and just to save their bodies, moved them off catcher to third base, and they both went elite defense at third base. You can go back to Brandon Inge. You remember Brandon Inge? The Tigers,
he was a third baseman for the Giants, Tigers.
They moved him to third base, elite defender. Then
same
he
with
did whatever he
Joe
did.
Mauer. And I mean, the eliteness aspect wasn't even there.
Joe Mauer was
he hurt his knees at that point. He had to play first base. Like it was too late for him.
They moved him because they didn't want him to hurt his knee. By that point,
but he was already hurt. Like he even admitted it because he was like, "Yeah, I know I can't play catcher because my knees are shot." Like he said, I
couldn't play catcher forever. But the fact that he came to spring training and they said, "Don't even waste your time with that glove. You're not playing catcher this year," is wild because that's where his value came from, because he was the greatest catcher that we've seen like almost ever. So like that was, I'm talking about like contact hitting. We don't have a catcher that hit like for contact like he did. He won 3 batting titles as a catcher. You don't see that almost ever. So the fact that they looked at him and was like, "You're not playing catcher ever," he moved to first base. Now he's middle of the road first baseman at best. They should have put him at third or something, just to make him look a little better because he had the strong arm or something. Just do something. Don't put him at first because now he sucks. You want your first baseman to be a big bopper. You don't want your first baseman to be 15 home runs, 310 average. Like, what are we doing here? So that's how I feel. So Gary needs to move to third base is what I'm trying to say. And he'll be the best player in the history of baseball. Guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. I almost feel the same. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I just wanted to come in there. My sound was going in and out for a second. We'll cut that out. I almost feel the same way. I mean, like, I think, yeah, like just going back to what like Gary's going through, like he's not going to be that utility guy either, where he can play another position. He's either playing DH or he's catching,
Put him
which
at
would even
third.
be hard.
Put him at third.
Nah,
he'll be elite.
No way. No way.
Put him in the hot corner.
If your defense as a catcher, if your defense as a catcher is already shoddy at blocking balls, he's going to be a revolving door at third base.
Like, think about it like this. Josh Donaldson got better defensively when he moved off a catcher. IKF won a Gold Glove after moving off of catcher.
The major difference in their defense is that they're both a lot more agile than Gary. Gary's not that agile. Yeah, we do. We've seen Gary behind the plate.
That's what
the major problem. No, but the major problem with Gary is that even with the equipment on, yeah, he's not agile. But we haven't seen Donaldson really at catcher unless like you're talking about when he came up. And IKF, you've seen him at catcher. I know, but IKF we've seen at catcher because he played it last year in Texas. And that man is agile. Like he can move around side to side throughout the plate. I saw highlights of him in like, I don't know, the old Texas jersey too.
3 years ago, and then
3 years ago,
third baseman. He played third base 2 years ago, and then last year, he played third base 2 years ago, won a Gold Glove, and then he moved to shortstop because they're like, bro, if you're this good at third, let's see what you can do at short. And he wasn't as good, but he's still good enough.
I mean, but he's got the range, which stems from the ability and the agility. And with Gary, he's not there. Like he's already, we know, slow. IKF is speedy, like he's very fast. Like he's probably the fastest Yankee now. Because Josh, at this point in his career, Josh Donaldson's old. He's got like hardly any legs. Gary's slow. We know Gary's slow too. Listen, what I'm saying from this is that we can't move Gary anywhere else. He's got to stay a catcher. We, as in like the Twins, but if he's not doing that, he's DHing or coming off the bench. Personally, I, as a Gary Sanchez fan and apologist and whatever, I'm going to want to see him play catcher every single day for the Twins because I really want him to get back to where he was.
50 bombs guaranteed this year, 50.
And if he does, I'm buying a Twins Gary Sanchez jersey. Yep. It's going under my Yankees jersey. Anyone I got, it's going under it. And I mean, we can't even talk about, how like important Gary was without even mentioning how important Gio was, because Gio was more important in that trade in the sense that he was essentially our starting third baseman for the entire season.
Shortstop this year.
And then shortstop, going into the season. Like, I mean, I'm talking about last year where we had Gleiber there. And then, Boone comes out as soon as baseball opens up. He's like, yeah, we got Gio. And, in the mix, he's livened up at shortstop. We're going to keep him in there, which makes DJ our third baseman. We're in the hunt for first baseman, blah, 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 blah. Well, that all spills out later. But Gio being part of that trade, I think, is the part that shocked me even more. Because, I mean, yes, we're getting Donaldson, which gives us a third baseman, but we're losing a lot of value, I think, from distance, from the difference between Gio and Donaldson. In the sense that I'd only say no because Donaldson strikes out a lot more, is a lot slower, and honestly hurt a lot more.
Runs like he's pulling he's pulling on like those
but Gio's the parachute like he's running with parachutes on his back.
It's like he's going nowhere. His legs are going
he's faster than Donaldson. Barely. If you admit that Gary's faster than Donaldson, then Gio has to be faster than Donaldson.
No. I was capping with Gary, but Gio might be a little faster, but Donaldson now is one of the slowest guys in baseball. I will give you credit for that, but Gio's not much faster. Like sprint speed, Gio got to be bottom 25.
Aside from speed, I still think we lost some value in that we're gonna get probably 30 more strikeouts from Donaldson, maybe 20 more home runs, because Gio wasn't like the super power hitter that Donaldson is.
That's a good trade-off.
But Donaldson, in Yankee Stadium terms, yes.
Yeah, because who's batting in front of him? Judge, Stanton, who are getting on base.
They're either getting on base or they're already hitting a home run, which means that there's nobody on base. Listen, I see the trade-off. I think Gio had more of an upside for us, and part of me always feels that the Yankees give up too early on their young guys. Always use them as trade bait.
No, bro, I don't know if I can believe. No.
I mean, you can't not say that, because if you look at the last decade, if you look at the draft we just did with the Yankees draft, all them players were older than 30 years old. Like the majority of them. There were very few players that were, one, we should talk about before, is like homegrown players. And two, like the majority of them came after 2016-17. And now Gary's gone. Judge is still here. Tyler Austin's gone. Tyler Wade is gone. Gio's gone. Gio came up with us and the Blue Jays and the Indians, but there's a few. There's a few. I feel that still hold some weight.
One thing you gotta remember is Tyler Austin. He's in Japan.
I know
they didn't give up on him too early.
I'm using him as the young example.
Greg Bird can't crack the major league roster for the Rockies or the Rangers, two of the worst teams before this year. Both didn't have first baseman. You tell me you can't crack the roster? He
left the Yankees hurt too. There was also that part.
But granted, he hit like 30 home runs in the minors, but he hit like 225. Like, you're not making the big leagues again like that. Who else? You got to remember, all of those years, we didn't have homegrown players because we traded them all to win the championship in 09 and get, strong playoff pushes in the playoffs up until 2012. From then on. Yeah. So all the other years after that, we just didn't have anybody. But you can't say that the Yankees give up on players too quickly when you have Andujar, who they still have on the roster that hasn't played in 3 years. You have Clint Frazier,
he hasn't played in 3 years.
But that's his fault. Clint Frazier's gone. Getting hurt. I'm saying Clint Frazier, who always got hurt. So they gave him opportunity after opportunity. And the one time he got extended starting playing time, he ended up being the worst left fielder in all of baseball.
Okay, but how many years prior to that did we expect Clint to get a starting role with the Yankees, where he wasn't as bad as he was last year, but they instead put Gardy in front of him?
But is that because they gave up, or is it because they wanted him to get better first?
You could say
the Yankees do that. You could argue both. They say, "Oh, he's not ready. He's not ready. He's not ready." They do that all the time. Florial still has not had extended time in the big leagues.
That's a big example. Yeah.
But to say that they give up too quickly when we just got rid of Sanchez, when he's been one of the worst hitting catchers in baseball, other than his home runs,
only
for like the last 2 years.
Yeah, last 2 years. Okay.
And then you have Andujar, who, when he did come back, his batting average was like 125. Like, granted, it's because he hasn't got it's a developmental aspect though.
Like, even with guys like Andrew, with Gary, we've already developed Gary. He started for us every day for almost 4 straight years, and he didn't develop. Yeah, okay. Giving up on Gary is, I guess the fine line, but Florial's a good example, and Duhar doesn't play just because I think he doesn't get the time. He doesn't have the space.
He doesn't have a spot.
Yeah.
Who are you going to play?
They tried to move him to first base, or left field, and those spots are occupied by already heavy duty signings that the Yankees have, and technically they're older players. I think Gallo obviously is the youngest of most of those guys still.
Yeah, he's 27, I think.
Yeah, he's like upper 20s, something like that. But look, if we're talking about Yankee free agency, we just signed Anthony Rizzo this morning. No, or yesterday? This morning.
That was yesterday, I think. Well,
yesterday night.
Last night, but I don't think they confirmed it even till now. To be honest with you, they're still waiting on the physical.
They got a signing and they got money and everything involved already for that. But
I just don't think the Yankees said the Yankees have signed Anthony Rizzo to a 2-year, $32 million contract. We haven't gotten that tweet yet.
No, they did. Actually,
Yankees?
I got that notification already.
Nah, bro.
I'm gonna look at it.
I think that was passing.
Freeman close to the Dodgers. That's stuff for later. No. I saw it.
I think that was passing, bro. Yeah, no. Nothing.
Godwin, Von Miller. Chris Bryant getting close.
Nah, yeah, nothing. Even to now, which is why I'm like, okay, I think they were holding it off so that, God forbid, Freddie Freeman is still free. They can say, Anthony Rizzo's physical didn't check out with us. We're gonna go sign Freddie Freeman.
It was yesterday, 11:38 p.m. 2 years, 32 mil with an opt out after 1 year.
From the Yankees, they didn't announce it. No, that wasn't from the Yankees. That was from Passan or something.
No, Passan or John. I got the Yankees alert.
I'm on the Yankees Twitter, right? The Yankees Twitter right now. Nothing. 9 hours ago, 11 hours ago, 12 hours ago, 14 hours ago, nothing.
Yeah, 1 day 24 ago, hours ago. Yesterday.
1 day ago. Nah, bro. I'm searching. I can't find anything.
Well, that's again like still like in either if it's in passing or like no, you didn't. Do you hear what you just said? If that's by passing, or whether that's from a report or from like the official Yankees, PR team, like Rizzo's our first baseman next year. Is like 99% sure of that.
I believe it. I just think the Yankees aren't announcing it because they had a press conference today, and
I think even Freeman's like off the radar completely. Like
they expect him to be off the radar. Well, now you saw the recent tweet went like 10 minutes ago. Dodgers. They said only 150 million, like
for Freeman.
Yeah,
the Yankees sent him that, or the Dodgers?
No, Dodgers. Multi-year deal worth up to $150 million, which is probably going to be like a 4-year, $150 million deal, or 5-year, $150 million.
Yeah, I was going to say 5. He wanted 6. And I know nobody wanted to give him 6.
I think the Yankees were going to give him 6, but they weren't. They weren't going to go to 200.
They didn't want to give him money. No. They weren't going to give him money. And I even think the Freeman deal could have been a stretch for them. It's Freddie Freeman, just won the World Series. Like he provides a lefty power bat that we want. I don't like. There's that age part that still bugs me a little bit about that. And look, we signed Rizzo, which doesn't make any sense. Again, like it bugs me. It rubs me the wrong way, only in the sense that I know the Yankees are going to go give an older guy a 6-7 year multi-million-dollar contract over, God forbid, Carlos Correa, 27 years old.
Well, that.
God forbid.
I did tell Corey you what they're going to try to do. I said they're going to get IKF.
You said that they were going to. No, you said
Simmons. I want them to get Story. I don't even want them to get Correa, because if they get Correa, kiss Judge goodbye. Correa. There's no way they're going to have 5 people on the roster that's going to be worth that much money. It's not going to happen. So I said I want them to get Story.
It depends. Story they have the new luxury tax, and they even said the Steinbrenners, all the major like major moneymaker MLB teams. They're not even scared of that luxury tax right now, because it's not even a new one, because
I'm saying the first level.
It's incentivized. It's incentivizing them to just say, "Oh, okay, well, we'll pay whoever we want now," because all of these teams, those money making teams, are all very close to like the World Series. They make the playoffs every year practically, save for like the Mets, but most of those teams are already like at that level. They're just going to be like, "Oh, we got to pay an extra guy. Like we're going to hit a luxury tax. We're going to pay an extra like little fee." Pay him. Who cares? I don't know. Like going back to my old person theory, like not even the Yankees are old, because they're still in their primes. I think like the majority of them, they're all still going to be.
I think really the only one out of their prime is really Rizzo. Even Donaldson's just hurt all the time. I think even
I'd say Donaldson. I'd say Donaldson's out of his prime only because we haven't seen a full season from him in like 2, maybe 3 years.
Like other than injuries, if he's played 162, he would give you 30 and 100 even now.
Yeah, he's still a good bat, and like all the stats show it for him. And I'm not worried about his offensive production. I think because he's gonna be the perfect Yankees offensive player, which is a good thing, but also a really bad thing, because that means he's gonna hit us a ton of home runs and get us a ton of RBIs, but he's not going to be like the clutch hit you need, 2 outs, man on first and third, simple base hit down like in the gap. Like it's not going to be that. And
there's a couple of guys. Yeah, you got to remember this is what he said. He said, "Man, like I came to Yankee Stadium and I saw how close the right field foul pole was.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to hit it there. So that's why he hit like 10 foul ball home runs in Yankee Stadium, where the ball went like 400 feet, but it was foul because he was aiming for the foul pole instead of just hitting like he usually does. Right field is close too. I'm pretty sure he can go up at Yankee
both
Stadium.
Corners.
So
both corners at Yankee Stadium are mad tight.
He looks out there. He's like, oh my god! It feels like basically what field was it? St. Joe's to us, where left field at St. Joe's was like 200 feet away, and you're like, I gotta hit it there. Like,
what year
that's
St.
what he
Joe's?
was doing.
It's freshman year?
Nah, sophomore year St. Joe's.
Oh, okay. Because I remember freshman year we were playing on the JV or varsity field.
Was like 500,
300. Yeah, I was like, nobody's hitting it out here.
It's like he got there, and he's like, oh, he literally said it. He was like, so that's why I kept trying to pull and hit the ball in the air. Anthony Rizzo, best case, Anthony Rizzo could be a 300 hitter, 25 home runs, especially at Yankee Stadium, probably even 30 now.
I'd say 30.
100, not 100 RBIs because they're probably going to bat him leadoff. But
Rizzo?
Yeah, because who's going to play, Glaber or DJ? Glaber's going to play more than DJ. I can guarantee you that.
I would prefer DJ. I think
I would prefer DJ, and I think the Yankees would prefer DJ.
Why don't you think they're going to play?
You're not putting Glaber on the bench.
They've done that last year when Squid was in.
No, Glaber started at second when Squid was in, and DJ played.
They
third.
had DJ there.
DJ.
I thought it was Gio, Squid, DJ at second, and Rizzo or Voit at first.
I think DJ was hurt at that time.
Okay,
not DJ. Glaber.
It could have been. Well, that's what. Yeah. Well, Glaber could have been hurt.
Glaber is the future of the organization still, so they're gonna play him. The issue is you don't have a 15 mil plus a year guy sitting on the bench.
But
so I think Glaber gets traded. I don't think they're gonna play DJ off the bench. So if as currently stands, Glaber's still the starting second baseman. So I think as the lineup currently sits right now, Rizzo's gonna bat leadoff. Then you're gonna go Judge, Stanton, Gallo, then JD, and then Hicks, and then you're gonna go. Well, who's left?
IKF and catcher. What's that guy's name? So,
IKF and then Rentvort or whatever his name is, and Higgy. Red something like that. Yeah, so
the strongest man alive, apparently. Have you seen that picture of him where he's like, what is that, squatting like 500 pounds?
When I saw the picture, I'm like, why is this guy so jacked?
Yeah,
it's not even that serious. Like,
for a catcher, you don't even need to be that big.
Him and Luke Voit got to get in a competition, bro.
They're gonna. Like, the weight room comp is gonna be crazy.
It makes no sense.
Both of them on the leg presses going crazy, like over 4 digits, like over 1,000 pounds on trying to break their hammies before the season. You see the Padres all get on that golf cart together,
it almost flipped
and
over.
Everyone's like, they almost pulled a Fernando Tatis on a motorcycle. Like, come on, bro. Whole season already in shambles. I don't know. I like your idea for a lineup.
I need DJ in the lineup every day.
I need DJ in the lineup, and I think, I don't know if we suck, but I think that our lineup definitely looks worse than last year's. It looks worse than last year's because you had a lot more flexibility. End of year last year. End of year last year.
I don't.
End of year last year.
That far.
Yeah, I mean, beginning last year, it was pretty solid, and then, well, no. End of year last year, we had, who was it? Guardy hitting like 9 spots.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Give me Hicks and JD.
Yeah, but beginning
over
you can't even say beginning
of whatever his name is.
You can't even say that beginning of year last year was better because look at what
worse.
They did.
No, beginning of year last year was worse.
Okay.
Jay Bruce was starting first baseman.
Starting first baseman, Jay Bruce. My lord.
That was horrible.
An era, wasn't it? I don't know. I think lineup wise, I could see. I want DJ in the lineup. So if I had to put a DJ lineup, I'd go DJ up first, Judge 2, Stanton 3.
No.
Rizzo 4.
No.
Switch them two. Switch
You
them
gotta
two.
switch them. You have to.
Yeah.
The Yankees all of a sudden.
You don't have to.
No. The Yankees,
no. It's not that they all of a sudden
want flexibility.
It's not that they all of a sudden want it. It's that like, well, actually, they have to have it. Like they need it because it has to throw off all like the opposing pitchers. The Rays know how to pitch to the Yankees, and they can't figure out why. But for some reason, when they stack the lineup lefty righty, they can hit a little bit better.
Yeah,
that happened at the end of the season when we had Rizzo, Gallo in the lineup in the top 5. So okay, we'll go DJ, Judge, Rizzo. Rizzo at DH. I'm gonna put Stanton in right and Judge at center. And I know it's only gonna happen 3 games this year because I'm not gonna play Higgy.
So who's playing first?
DJ. That's the only other way.
So that means you're taking out Hicks.
Yeah.
Nah, bro. Sorry, I can't.
It would have to be a minus Hicks lineup.
I can't get behind that one. Whoa, I would have to behind that one.
Well, then how else are you gonna put DJ in?
Put him at second. We're trading Glaber, almost guaranteed.
Well, until I see it, right? Because everyone thinks, oh, we're trading Glaber.
You know how I know we're trading Glaber?
And look who's still here.
You know how I know we're trading Glaber? Look at this. Yankees said, oh, and this is a stupid move, but the Yankees said, oh my God, Aaron Judge is our backup center fielder. The next day they signed Tim LeCastro. Then they said, said Glaber Torres is going to be, they said Gio is going to be our opening day shortstop. The next day they traded for JD and IKF. And then they said, oh man, Gary, what was it? Luke Voigt is our starting first baseman. The next, 10 minutes later, they announced the trade for Rizzo.
I didn't even hear that part. I just knew that first base was a void, and that Voigt was not going to be starting opening day first base.
And then guess what they said?
Because they were in the hunt for Freeman and because they were in hunt for Rizzo still. And then they
guess what they said yesterday.
Rizzo. They said it yesterday that Voigt was our starting first baseman.
No. I said guess what they said yesterday.
What?
Glaber Torres is still in the mix to be our backup shortstop. That means that man is out of town tomorrow. I'm not going to put a time limit on it, but guaranteed he's going to be playing for the A's next year. We're going to have Sean Manaea or something on our team.
Yeah, because they're talking about Sean Manaea coming to the Yankees. And the A's do need players at this point. They might as well just they do. They have nobody left.
Every game.
I know they're cleaning house, but they need people to start on opening day. They're not just gonna have
they're just gonna bring the whole AAA team up and say, yeah, we're good with this.
Oh hell! And that's when they move to
Las
Oakland.
Vegas.
Not Las Vegas.
Guaranteed.
They move from Oakland to Vegas
because they're gonna blame the fans. The fans don't want to watch us. No, you put out the worst team in the history.
The worst team in baseball. Nice job. I don't know all right. Let me finish up that lineup. I went DJ. This is the no Hicks lineup. Which listen. If you look at the way Hicks played last year, which was none because he had Tommy John surgery, but aside from that,
I think that was the stupid wrist sheath.
Tommy John the year before?
Tommy John was the year before, and then he came back with no arm.
And then this year was this is my 3 times a year lineup where Judge plays center field, and we have to have DJ playing first, and we have to have DJ playing second, and Rizzo playing first. That's the only other way this will work out. Is we do then it works out because if you have DJ, then you don't start Glaber, right?
That's what I was saying.
That was that was the other thing. Okay, so if I play DJ at second, I can still have Stanton at DH.
Yes,
and Hicks come in at center field, bro. DJ up first, Judge up second, Rizzo third, Stanton 4, Gallo 5. That's as far as I got before, right?
Yeah,
I can still keep Hicks 6. Yeah, there was no problem with it.
No, because you said
Donaldson 7 because you want to switch. You want to keep the righty lefty. You can have the switch in the middle, and the bottom half of the lineup is going to be whatever.
You said you wanted DJ at first.
No, I wanted
DH.
I wanted Rizzo at first. I actually wanted Rizzo at first, and I wanted DJ starting second.
That's why I stopped you. I'm like, bro, I'm positioning one of the best defensive first basemen out the lineup for a guy who's not a first baseman.
No, but I'm taking out one of those 2 guys. It's either Hicks or Glaber, who I forgot about because I was literally like, who's playing second then? But after Gallo 5. I'm doing Hicks switch at 6 because he can actually get on base too for Josh Donaldson. Because if you put Gallo in front of him, Gallo's either going to strike out or hit a home run. If we're talking about last year Gallo, we got to see the improvement on that before that happens.
The only reason I'll say no is because if you put JD 7, that means you have 5 righties in a row because it's going to be JD, IKF, catcher.
I thought IKF was switch.
No, IKF is a righty, but then
they're
gonna put
Rentvort is lefty.
So he's a lefty, but Higgy's probably gonna start more often. So you're gonna
because it's Cole opening day, it'll be Higgy behind the dish.
Yeah. So you're gonna have righty, and then DJ.
Okay, so
switch
JD and then Hicks for opening day. But that still gives you 4 righties in a row, which is like it's like 4 or 5 righties in a row.
Yeah,
it's not a major difference.
So if you look online, the lineup is Rizzo 1, Judge 2, I think Stanton 3,
okay,
JD 4,
yeah,
and then you have Gallo, Hicks. Who else is down there? Then you have.
I'm gonna stop you right there. Hold on. They have JD 4.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because JD's a better hitter than Gallo. That's just why they have it that way.
Okay. I think Gallo has better potential to be a 4 hitter than JD. JD was on the Twins last year, and I think that's why he ate so much.
No,
but now he's gonna be facing one of the toughest pitching divisions in all of baseball.
I agree.
That hurts all the Yankees.
I agree, but you got to remember how last year ended. The Yankees sent Judge home on that play because they had no faith that Gallo could get him in from third base. So if that's the case, just give me JD. Because even JD against a righty is better.
I don't know if you can even say that easily. Like, I mean, well, Gallo hurts because he wasn't hitting well, but also because he hits into the shift, which will still be in effect by this year.
Yeah, this year.
Donaldson can spray at least, but I don't know if I have the same amount of confidence as you or even the team right now to put him at a 4 spot. So right now he's behind Stanton, no?
I have more faith in him than Gallo. That doesn't say much.
Yeah, I mean it's low either way. Regardless of it, I don't know.
Low key, what I would do is Hicks 1, even though I hate it, because Hicks is on base percentage is going to be in the 400. So Hicks 1, then you put Judge 2, then you put Stanton 3, and then you put Rizzo 4, or you can flip the 2 of them. It doesn't really matter who. And then you put JD 5, Gallo 6. No, opposite. No, JD 4, 5, Gallo 6. Then you have 7, 8, 9 is gonna be all righties at that point, or Glaber, IKF, Rentvort, or something like that, whatever his name is, or Higgy. So
okay. What's the starting rotation right now? Cole, Sevy, Monty. We still have. Do we have Tyon? Is he hurt?
Yeah,
okay.
He's hurt.
But he's coming on paper, for opening day.
He's already pitching.
Well, opening series, not opening day, or second series, because that would be after the first 3.
So right now, the first 5 starter right now. So
over Monty?
Yeah, you gotta remember, there was a 2-month stretch last year where JMO was the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah, but I think Monty's a more household name to end the series, though.
What does that mean?
He's a better
win
pitcher.
The first 3 games of the year. Monty's a better pitcher than Monty.
That stretch for Tyon didn't do anything for Tyon when the Yankees needed a starting pitcher, especially like down the stretch, like because he got August, September.
His ankle gave out at the end of the year.
That's not even promising enough for me to put him at a 3 spot in our rotation.
I would, because
Monty's healthy.
I'm telling you, bro, you gotta remember.
Monty's healthy.
For that stretch of 2 months had like a 1 ERA, and he was wiping people out. Like, no one could touch him. He was consistently 7 innings, 0 runs, 7 innings, 1 run.
No,
he put himself in the Cy Young competition, and then his ankle blew out, and then he just
it was a good stretch, but I still don't. He's not he's in my mind. He's definitely not the 3 guy. I would still put Monty there just because people know Monty because people put him in the same Yankees like level of respect as Sevy. and Cole for this year, right? Like they've been long-term Yankees pitchers and established there for a while.
You're going on too much nostalgia, bro. Like I
don't even
agree,
think it's that
nostalgia.
because Monty, it's not even nostalgia.
Who do you think is a better pitcher?
Monty,
J-Mo.
Come on. No. Come on, bro.
What are you talking
Hold on. If I'm looking at the depth chart, I'm gonna go look at Monty and I'm gonna look at Tyone.
Because they project Monty as a number 4 starter at best in his career. J-Mo has number
Monty
1
Monty has a better ERA. He has more strikeouts.
What does that mean?
And he
J-Mo
has
pitched for the Tigers.
They have the same Pirates. Whip. No, last season. 2021 season stats.
So, you got to remember, the first half of the year, he was coming off Tommy John, and he was horrible. And then once he had like the worst start of his life against the Phillies,
that is why
he couldn't make it out the first inning. And then after that start, he was the best pitcher in baseball for June and July. And then August, he got hurt. Something happened in August, or it was July and August. And in September, he got hurt and tried to pitch through the ankle injury and couldn't make it out the second inning because he just couldn't step on it. Because literally, if it was me, if he was healthy throughout the whole rest of the year, I would have started him in the wild card game because Cole was hurt. The only reason they didn't start anybody else because nobody else could do what Cole could. Even a hurt Cole is better than Monty. Even a hurt Cole is better than Nestor.
You take Cole over anybody else on the Yankees starting 5 right now for any game. That's fine. But I would still put Monty down as the better pitcher than Tyone.
I think they'll pitch Monty 3 just because it's 2 power righties to start the series, and you don't want a third one doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's also like the lefty righties part. Yeah. Who do you think's the 5th guy? You think Nestor gets it?
Nestor right now, Herman is in the mix. Michael King could also be in the mix
too. King could be in the mix, and I think Hill. I also heard he's already in the spring training invite from last year. Luis Hill.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Yeah. That's another Sevy, another J-Mo, another Cole. Like he might not be, throwing a nasty wipeout slider like Cole.
No, but he's hitting gas most of the game. Like I'll still take that because. Like we talk about hardest pitches to hit in baseball. Nobody's hitting a 98-mile-per-hour fastball. First dish of the day, you're getting a 95-mile-per-hour fastball straight down the middle. You're taking it. The only person who wouldn't take it was probably Ichiro Suzuki.
That's what I'm saying because he's annoying.
Yeah, he'd be like, "Go ahead, I know what pitch is coming." They're like, "Oh yeah, here's the fastball." Oppo gets a triple.
Yeah. I wish the Yankees had an Ichiro though, low-key.
Just like a solid contact guy. I mean, when we first used to talk about, because he gets sprayed anywhere. When we first talked about, like Yankees hitters and who they need, you brought up like 3-4 years ago, the Yankees should eye Michael Brantley right before he went to the Astros.
No speed, and that man can put the ball anywhere on the field.
That probably could have been the Yankees' safest bet at hitter for the last 4 years. Because he's consistently a 300 guy.
Yeah.
And he's always hitting the ball, always getting on base, draws incredible amounts of walks. Like he's always on base.
This is what's nuts.
Is he switched? My fault.
No, he's a lefty.
He's a lefty.
Think about it like this. You have DJ 1.
Yeah.
Brantley 2. Judge 3. Judge easily would have 120 RBIs every year.
Every time. 2 of those guys are scoring.
Because they get on base anytime they want to. Like a healthy DJ.
Could you imagine
anytime
2019 with Brantley at the 2 spot? Could you imagine? That's like 110 wins. Like if you think of how many games the Yankees played and lost by 1 run, 2 runs, that doesn't happen. That's a dub.
Who was our left fielder that year? Wasn't it still Gardy?
It was either Gardy or
it was Gardy.
Danton.
It was supposed to be Clint.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Clint, and then Gardy got the easy bump up. Yeah.
Think about it like that.
I thought we had another guy. I don't know. Yeah. Gardy in the 9-hole lays down a drop down bunt, gets on base. Judge gets bases loaded for 30% of his at bats.
So if Brantley's there's no Gardy, but that's a price you have to pay.
Well.
Because you have Brantley in left, you have Hicks in center, you have Judge in right, and then
unless you have Gardy in center, that would be the only other way.
No, but at that time Hicks was
still
starting.
Hicks was starting in center. Yeah.
So think about it like that, where it's like, okay, Judge would have DJ 325, 330 average. You have right behind that Michael Brantley, 330 average with like a 400 on base percentage because he's getting his walks too. Judge and Stanton would both have 120 RBIs consistently, even when they were getting hurt. They're going to come back and get 120 RBIs.
Cole AL MVPs for 2 years straight. 2018, 2019, 2020. COVID season. We've got like 6, maybe 7. No, we got like 4, maybe 5 like solid free agents left. Where do you think they end up? We'll start with Freeman. I think they already announced it. Yeah, he's already like on the 1 yard line to be a Dodger. Like he's about to quarterback sneak it and say, "Give me 180 mil." The Dodgers be like, "Yeah, all right, whatever," and they just sign the check for him. Story.
Something deep down inside is still giving me Yankees vibes.
You think they're still in the mix for him?
I don't know.
He's been real quiet. There's like been no coverage on him.
They're waiting for Correa to sign.
Yeah. Well, I think Correa is waiting on him to sign.
That's why it's so quiet on both of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really have that feeling deep down inside, like,
so
it could still going to be a Yankee. I don't know why I feel that way.
It could happen. I mean, if you look at the way like the Yankees talking with the A's on Manea right now, that could mean Gleiber's on the move. That could open up a shortstop spot. That could open up a spot for Story or Correa.
Because IKF is on paper to be our starting shortstop, but you don't feel utility bad if you put him on the bench. You don't feel bad if you put him on the bench.
What?
You don't care.
No.
So
he's utility. He's utility. You play him anywhere you need a guy. After like that 7-game stretch, you got to get IKF in there, like just to give some guys some rest.
Low key, IKF on our team last year, #1 in hits on the team. He had 172
like statistically?
hits last year. 172. Oh, wow. He almost had 200 hits last year. The #1 person with hits on the Yankees was DJ at like 165.
And that was a down year for DJ.
And then Judge had like 160 or 159 or something like that. IKF,
that's crazy.
Low key should have been our leadoff hitter last year. Like if he was on the team, and we probably would have won 10 more games than we did.
So the trade could have been Gallo and IKF for Gary, Gio, and
I would do it.
Whoever we sent to Texas, a bunch of prospects.
That trade would have made sense. This trade for JD and IKF didn't make no sense.
Yeah, but like the quality of it. Same thing with Correa. Oh well, where do you? Oh yeah, you say Story.
Where do you say for Story?
Yeah, for Story, it was hard because I literally thought that Chris Bryant was going to the Mets, and I knew that Cohen was like inching for him, or it could have just been Mets fans' influence for it. But I felt like Cohen really did want a solid third baseman again, right?
I think Bryant was going to the Mets.
I didn't expect him. They already picked up 2 outfielders. I thought
they picked up Marte to play center.
Yeah,
Nemo moves to either left or right, and the other one is open. They have people on the bench, but they're not established.
So they could have used that third outfield. I thought they were going to use him to play third because they don't have a third. They picked up a third baseman, but I don't think they want to start him. That's the guy from the Brewers.
You got to start the guy. He hit like 32 home runs last year.
I don't know about that.
What's his name?
It starts with an E.
It was.
Bro, I know this guy. Come on now.
He used to play for the Twins. Escobar.
Yeah. Not starts with E, but 30, first name starts with E.
He had like 25 home runs at the All-Star break, and I think he got hurt and came back and hit 7 before the end of the year or something like
Eduardo Escobar. Yeah,
Eduardo Escobar. He's actually pretty good, and he's a switch hitter, so you play the guy.
I think Bryant would have been a better option for him.
100% a better option.
Yeah.
But,
Story for me, I felt like he was going to stay on the Rockies just because like they wouldn't have signed Bryant and just like, all right, well, we got to bring somebody back. I think I could see Story only because I saw like the earliest reports of it, like before the lockout for him. I think I saw Story going to like, I think it was actually Houston. And I kind of felt it because I thought Correa was going and they were going to pick up Story.
I like that.
Yeah.
For them. Do I like
for
that
Houston?
For the rest of the league? No. But
and then I also felt like Correa. Where did you say Correa?
Correa, I think he's going back to Houston now. And I think Story, if it not for the Yankees, he might go to the Cardinals because that's their only position where they're not elite.
Yeah. I think Cardinals were also in the mix, but I think for me, Correa, I had him high on the Yankees. I mean, we talked about that already, but I can kind of see him going to the Tigers, I think, still, and having Javi back at second.
He said
because he already talked with
I
Hinch.
will move to second base for is Lindor. If Lindor's not on my team, that's what he said. He said, if Lindor's not on my team, I'm playing shortstop.
It's not that they're not even friends because they're both on the Puerto Rican national team. I think him and Correa would still be a good infield duo at second and short. It'll still happen.
But I don't think he's going to want to move off the short. I think he's a better fielder than Correa. I think Correa would play third, but you're not going to play $300 million for a third baseman. So they're going to just put him at short and tell Javi, like, hey, you're going to have to play second or third for us. But I don't think he's going to want to do that. You just spend $150 million on the guy. Don't make him move.
You also have to take into – well, I mean, it was the same difference for Seager and Semien. And Semien already played second last year.
Semien had no choice. He signed it for cheap. And you know the future of the organization is at shortstop.
You got $25 million a year, 7 years.
That's I'm talking
Rangers.
about last year. I'm talking about last year when he signed with the Blue Jays. That was cheap.
That was a 1 year deal.
It was a 1 year, like $10 million deal. Like figure it out. So that's why he did it. This year, I understand he became the best second baseman in baseball. You better stay at second base. It wouldn't be smart to go to shortstop.
I don't think I see Correa anywhere else. Who else needs a shortstop? Like the Nationals or like low level teams.
So like the Angels, if they had some extra money, but they need pitching first.
They need a lot of pitching. They already picked up Syndergaard and somebody else. I forgot.
Yeah, they picked up.
I just saw it.
They did. They picked up people. They're not necessary because they're not winning the division. No, the Astros without Correa or Story still win that division. Maybe the Mariners now because they picked up everyone.
The Mariners picked up everyone. Yeah. they picked up the world. Let's see. Those are three. Castellanos still up there.
Yeah.
Right fielder. Since he still hasn't been signed.
He's on the Marlins.
Okay.
Well, not anymore because he left. That means they're trying not to spend any money. So I wouldn't even say he's going to the Marlins.
Yeah, the Marlins still need people.
He might go to the Mariners too at this point. They need a DH. He could platoon with Jesse Winker. One is the DH, one's the left fielder.
He could. I mean, the money aspect would be difficult, but he could go to the Mets because he could play that right field corner. Yeah, Marte in center, Nimmo in left. Who?
Mark Canha.
Is that the other guy that's there that I picked up?
Yeah, this is the same player. So unless you're gonna get like Chris Bryant, who's gonna play elite defense, you just leave. You just tell Nick Castellanos to sign somewhere else. I think Nick Castellanos should go to the Red Sox. That would hurt my soul. Because they low-key need a first baseman.
Red Sox were in the running for Freddie.
Yeah, but that's dead.
Freeman.
That's dead. Yeah, Bobby Dahlbeck. You're not going to,
That doesn't mean much for them. He's a rookie.
He was a rookie 2 years ago.
Maybe he could fade out easily. This was his first, full season.
So his first full season was this past year, and he faded out at the beginning of the year. And that's why they traded for Schwarber. And then he got hot at the end. So it was like, okay, we probably should make this guy our first baseman. But of course, like you said, if Freddie Freeman's there available, you try and sign him. But
you try Freddie. Freeman's a Dodger. I think we already think that.
Yeah.
I can't tell on Castellanos. I can kind of buy the Marlins part because the Marlins literally just need players. There's not too many other teams also that are willing to pay too much. He's probably commanding $20 million a year, I think, on a long-term deal too. On the season he just had.
Bad.
Yeah, well, maybe season he just had.
Schwarber just got $20 million a year, so maybe.
Oh shoot, he did.
He got 4.
He went to Philly, right?
To Philly, yeah.
Yeah.
So Schwarber, so Castellanos could go to Philly too, because it's universal DH. So
right and left. Oh yeah, and Schwarber can play DH and Philly. Oh. So it's looking like
I would rather Castellanos be DH because he's a better Schwarber's a better fielder than Castellanos.
Even with that, Schwarber's a better.
Castellanos is arguably the worst fielder in baseball. In the outfield?
Nah,
oh, the only person worse than him is Jesse Winker. Clint Frazier, maybe.
Team. You could probably argue all of them. There's a lot of bad outfielders, especially in that Central. Like, there's a ton. They're all bad outfielders.
Yeah.
Conforto and Jansen are the only two that really like command money. Like
Conforto messed himself up. Like he put so much pressure on himself last year and was really bad. So like I think
wasn't he good up until the All-Star break? And faded out.
Had the worst second half of like all time.
Yeah.
So I would say I would think Conforto could go to.
He could go to Miami.
No, he might not. I don't think they're spending money anymore, bro. That's why I'm nervous.
I think they can get him for cheap just because of how bad he played.
He was, yeah.
There
was a
who's the outfielder?
Who's the outfielder
in San Francisco?
San Francisco is.
That's the only other team that I think like playoff worthy that could probably spend money on the tax.
Wade Lamont.
Yeah.
Who was nasty against righties but couldn't hit lefties to save his life. You have who's their center fielder?
I know this too because I was literally looking up mad people. Are you playing
Mike Yastrzemski?
Oh yeah, duh. And are you playing what's the MLB Wordle? Are you playing that? I sent it to you, I think. Oh yeah, I've been like last 3 days. I got the last 3 players. I'm pretty high on that.
Start playing. Freddie just got signed, confirmed.
Dodger.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, it was 5 years, but they didn't say the dollar amount.
Yeah, that's probably coming later today or tomorrow.
Yeah,
like they'll definitely have that down. Kenley Jansen. Dodgers aren't going to pay him. I think they're done with him. He could end up. Who needs relievers?
Mets.
Literally anybody in the Central.
Anybody.
The Mets would overpay for him. I guarantee. The only team
that doesn't need relievers is the Yankees.
I think the Phillies desperately need relievers.
The Phillies would give him a bag.
The Phillies could give him like 60. Yeah, I was gonna say 60, 3 years, 60 mil. They're like, please, can we
stabilize our bullpen?
Oh my god,
I
think those are the only 5. Well, now it's like 4 players if you count out Freddie, who's practically a Dodger at this point. But out of all those guys, I think those are pretty fair assessments. It's tough to say again. Like Carlos and Correa and Story are the 2 hardest ones to make anything out of there because there's been no news on them. One is kind of depending on the other to make a move first, and I think it also depends on what team is just willing to give it up, just pay for them. Because the only thing they're calling for is for the money, like both of them.
This is what I heard that I kind of feel bad for, but Correa switched his agent like in like November. So what I heard is that because his old agency started the negotiations, they're entitled to more of the percentage than Scott Boras. So what I heard is that Scott Boras might tell Carlos Correa to bet on himself and take like
that's the Boras thing. I couldn't figure that out.
3-year short deal, max money. So like 3 years, 130 million or something crazy. Yeah. And then after that's put like a buyout after or opt out after the first or second year.
Yeah.
So that now after that he can still get Correa his 8 to 10 year contract.
Like the 2 years after that,
the whole percentage of the money that he gets.
He can get out of that first contract that gets him a ton of money, and then get even more money and opt out after that. That's crazy.
So
I remember
him taking so long.
I remember Scott Boras saying something about like, with Correa under my agency, like we're gonna try and get him the best like contract we can. Usual, like agent, garbage or whatever, but. In the sense, I think more so that he was going to be like the highest paid player in baseball, like position player. And for his age, like it makes sense. He's 27. He's going to get like a 10-year deal. He could get a 10-year deal easy, but there's no team that wants to pay that right now. And especially if it doesn't include an opt-out after 2, 3, 4 years when he's 30, you figure out, all right, how long can we really have you for after you get hurt? After you're never going to have a hitting slump, but after your defense gets worse, there's going to be some like protective measures on both sides that have to happen there. That does make sense though. That does make sense with the Boras thing.
Because Boris is not going to get him a 10-year deal if Boris is not going to benefit off of it. What does that do for me?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, makes sense. I don't know. What do you think, Shane? What do you think of the Yankees free agency, MLB free agency as a whole right now?
I think the owners were telling the truth when they locked out the players, because like NBA, they have the free agency moratorium or whatever it's called, where they're not allowed to like make deals.
No tampering, no
tampering, blah blah blah. But then at like the first 10 minutes of free agency, 6 people sign. It's like, how's that possible?
You're like, wait a minute. Like first pause on the Suns, how?
Exactly. But like the MLB was serious. Like they locked out the players, and it was like everyone expected like, oh, lockout's done. The next 10 minutes, 8 guys are gonna sign. It's like, no, we haven't talked since November. Yeah. Like this is the first time we're talking since November. Let's talk now.
They almost took themselves too seriously about it. But no, I agree with that.
Shocked, but they're making up for it. Because we got
we missed a lot of time. Yeah, there was definitely a lot of movement within the last 2 weeks. I think more importantly, like for the sport, the game changes to the tune of the players, right? Like whatever team is strongest, they're going to attract the most like player value to their team. You have exceptions with like the Angels, with exceptions on, all over, the league or whatever. But I think even throughout the lockout, you're still seeing that those top teams are still benefiting from everything. They benefit the most no matter what. And that comes from, MLB doesn't have a cap or even like a floor. So you have teams like the A's that just have to like give everyone away, or like even the Rockies who just can't pay people. But except for Chris Bryant,
which makes no sense. Why don't you just extend story?
Yeah, that's just dumb. It's like the guy's already there. His hometown team, like not even his hometown team, but like the team he grew up with, is literally like coming up with him, and you gave everything away around him just so you can rebuild under Chris Bryant. Good luck. But listen, MLB season is definitely gonna be an interesting one for the Yankees specifically. I think you really have to look at like the rest of their division now, and you have to wonder like, are they going to be able to compete as hard now? Like, there's at least 3 teams. Not even at least. There are 3 teams that you could say are either equal to their level or better. And Boone was saying the last 2 years that we now have teams that are at our level. Realistically, they passed you already. The Blue Jays, especially with the Chapman signing, are a lot better. The trade. The Red Sox are always going to be the Red Sox. Like they're going to find a way, whether it's young guys,
they're going to be the worst team in baseball, which makes no sense.
If they end up being the worst team in baseball, it'll be
the best or the worst.
It's nonsensical. And then you have the Rays. Like the Rays, people always lowball the Rays. People say, "Oh, the Rays are never going to be anything because they can't pay people." They're one of those small market teams that just have to rely on that once in a generational player. Well, now they have like 5. And now they're actually doing money. Well. And they have Kluber on their team. If we were
on the Rays, we'll be MLB All-Stars.
Like individually,
like right now,
if we were in the Rays, like
Kevin Cash
league,
hits us up, not even developmental league. Kevin Cash hits us up right now, like, "Hey, I heard you played baseball 8 years ago. Come to MLB camp right now. Guaranteed, both of us will be on the American League All-Star team this year. Guaranteed."
I told you during the batting cages session, just send out the tape. Just so we'll email Kevin Cash.
Joey Wendell. Like, I love Joey Wendell. I think he's one of my favorite. Like, if I wasn't a Yankee fan, Joey Wendell would have been one of my guys. Joey Wendell showed up out of nowhere and just went nuts. And it's like, who is this guy? Who is this guy?
There's, again, like every other guy. Randy Rosarena was literally just like a journeyman. He was literally just going team to team collecting a paycheck.
COVID was the best thing he ever. Granted, he was a rookie, but like he was
still pretty good last year
in the Cardinals. He was not going to get playing time. He had COVID, had to take a month off of baseball. He did like 5,000 push-ups every day and came back Babe Ruth. So like
it's a one-punch man strategy. I don't know if you've ever seen that show, anime. Bro, like again, the one team that everyone just, it's the Rays, who cares? And they pop up in first place or second place in your division. And with the new wild card rules, maybe that actually benefits the Yankees. Maybe they actually end up being that last wild card. Maybe they actually end up fighting for a playoff spot and getting into the real playoffs, the divisional series, the conference, the league series. But you still got to worry about that competition. The Yankees still have 19, 19, and 19, 57 games that they have to win against 3 of the top divisional teams in their league.
So what I heard was it's balanced schedule this year. So everybody plays everybody. I don't know if it starts this year or next year, but I'm actually going to look it up now because I think they said that everyone plays everybody this year. So there's no way we can play 19 games.
I know we're playing
the East.
Like this was a scheduled year against but we're playing the full 162, I thought. Because those first week of games are getting made up at the end of the season.
Okay, so it begins next year. It says teams will play 5 fewer games against division opponents. So instead of playing 1 series against every team in the other league. So instead of it being like, East plays West this year, it's going to be like
everyone. This year we have the NL Central.
Yeah.
We got Cubs, Reds.
Thank God.
Pirates. Yeah, I know. Like we've been waiting on this. I remember when we had to play the West, and it was a crazy series against the Dodgers. The East is always a crazy series because it's like hometown teams, and then like we weren't great last year, so we were struggling against the Marlins. But finally, we get a breather.
We played the East again last year.
Yeah, we did the East last year because we did Marlins and Phillies. Remember we had to play Didi? I saw a Didi game actually. Didi was back at the stadium.
Yeah,
Yankee Stadium.
You're right.
Yeah, and then the year before that, I think we might have done Central. It was the year Gardy hit that game-tying home run at Wrigley. Was that 2017?
2016.
16 or 17?
No, 2017.
It was a baby bomber year. Yeah.
I was up in my dorm at my apartment at Rutgers, like on my phone, like watching it at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I'm not going to sleep until it's done. Like my friends playing video games, like, yo, playing 2K. I'm like, no, Yankees, bro.
Yankee game. I think 2017. Yeah, I was probably coming back from like school or work, and I had just gotten back to see the Gardy homer. I was like,
telling you, bro.
Yo. Yankee season should be good, I think, regardless. MLB season, of course, we're happy to be back. Shay, we got to hit the cages again, bro. We're going to put in more
I got to let my hands heal first.
No, like, you give it a week, you'll probably be all right. Like, by Friday of this week, I could probably feel my hands again. Right now, I can't. I'd be typing with those little, like, baby hands, fingers at a time. DROD and Shaniac Sports Podcast, episode 31. You can find us on YouTube. Watch us on the video screen. Watch us or listen to us through YouTube video. If you pay for that extra YouTube, like, subscription thing where you could lock your phone and listen to YouTube at the same, it's not worth it. Like, just don't do it. Just go on SoundCloud. SoundCloud has all of those things. And this isn't like, forget about a plug about YouTube. Like, I'm not plugging YouTube for anything. They be giving us mad trouble. But aside from all of that, you can listen to us on Podbean, Spotify Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Pandora Podcasts. Stream everywhere. You're going to be listening to us for a long, long time this year. We have all the baseball content, all the NFL content that's coming up soon. NBA season is pretty much coming to a close. We got like a month-ish left. There's like 13, 14 games for a lot of teams. And playoffs should be starting soon. Should probably be thinking about that. You're nervous. I want the Knicks to tank. I want them to try and go for a lottery pick.
I'm nervous because right now it's 7 versus 8. That means Toronto versus Nets. And Kyrie can't play in Toronto or Brooklyn.
It's not top seed versus bottom seed. It's not 7 versus 10, 8 versus 9. No. That's what it was last year.
It's 8 and 9 play.
Yeah.
And then 7 and 8 play. The winner of 7 is automatic. The winner of 8, the loser of 7 or 8 plays the winner of 8 and of 9 and 10 to see who goes to be the 8 seed now. So that's why I'm nervous because Kyrie can't play in Toronto games or Brooklyn. So it's like we're out of luck that first game, no matter what.
You're only really going up against Scotty Barnes and if Pascal Siakam can show up again, because Fred VanVleet's been off like the radar for a good
he's been hurt
now.
For a while, and then when he came back,
wasn't
the same.
Yeah. Listen, it'll be tough. You guys have KD. You see what he just pulled against the Mavs. Y'all should have won that game today, but
he gave him too much time. He gave him 10 seconds to walk the ball up the court. Like, nah, bro.
It's a regular season loss. I know y'all can't afford them because you're like 2 games over 500 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get there. What's the rest? Is just the rest of your schedule's tough or not?
I don't even know, to be honest with you. I haven't even looked.
You got to
All
check
I know
that.
is there's no tough schedule for the Nets. Let's be real. The issue is
the Mavs is going to be a close game.
No, we should have blew the Mavs out. We were up 15 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but it's the Luka effect. He did the same thing against Boston the other day. Didn't he hit a game-winning shot?
Like I said, Dragic played a ton of minutes tonight, and Dragic was shooting practice. Like anybody that he was lined up the guarding, it's like the basket was this big. Like, there was no point of it.
They widened the hoops.
Exactly. So that's what it was.
Yo, you got to see that picture I sent to my NBA friends who have all the conspiracies. You ever seen like the iceberg of conspiracies in the NBA? I gotta send you that picture. It's mad funny. It's like Otto Porter Jr. is Wilt Chamberlain's son, and
because they look
just like because they look exactly like, except Otto got the glasses. This is ridiculous. Hey, episode 31. Keep tuning into us. We'll see probably next week, and we'll have more content for you guys. Keep tuning in. Check out the group that we got. We're gonna be making a separate message about that, but we got a college basketball bracket group for the men's and women's bracket. So if you have a solid bracket,
Rutgers just lost
in your they're not the 11th seed that you got in to Notre Dame.
Double overtime, man. And Notre Dame beats them by 2. Oof. Oh my God, that hurt because I was gonna, I always make that one.
You're gonna put them all the way.
Wins. I always make the one. I'm like, yeah, they're gonna win it all.
Oh hell.
Yeah. Man.
Well, if you got a strong bracket in your gauntlet and you want to throw it in there, put it in our group, and you might be incentivized. Just might. Best bracket wins. That's what we call it. But keep tuning in. We'll keep having content for you guys. Peace.